Now, a joint session of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa and the African Union has stalled rather dramatically in Dakar, in Senegal, following the presence of representatives from the Sahrawi Republic, which is also, of course, referred to as Western Sahara. It's a highly disputed territory. Now, while the African Union, on one hand, recognizes the country as an independent state, the United Nations does not. That matter was raised by a long contending partner, Morocco, which questioned the legality of any agreements reached if one of those members present in that meeting is not formally recognized. The UN statutes dictate that a matter cannot proceed if a member has raised a concern. The African Union, however, so far has stood by its position that Western Sahara is a full member. The UN, however, maintains it's not a recognized state. So the chair of the session was at one point forced to separate the sessions, but participating countries objected on grounds that they had all been briefed to attend a joint session. Let's get the latest details on that now. Catherine Amanso joins us now live from Dakar with more. Catherine, this conference wasn't designed to cover any territorial dispute. So why did the Moroccans stop proceedings to dispute the presence of the Western Sahara representatives when this issue can't be solved there?
Well, it's basically what you've mentioned. It's the legality of whatever resolution is brought up in this particular conference. So if Western Sahara does participate in this conference and regulations they come up with regulations at the end, those regulations can be questioned because of the mere fact that Western Sahara is not recognized by one of the partners, which is the United Nations. On the other hand, the African Union does recognize Western Sahara as an independent entity and therefore wants Western Sahara to participate. So it's a matter of legal issues or legal statutes between the two, UN and AU. So now it's gone beyond Morocco raising the issue to the United Nations saying that they will not participate in this particular conference until Western Sahara removes itself. So it's a question of whether how do we move forward. It's been a day and a half of discussing the same issue over and over again, and a lot of delegates are angered because this is not the place. They say this is not the place to talk politics. This is a place to talk about economics. So you're looking at 1 billion Africans and you know their issues hanging in the balance because of this particular issue. So yeah, delegates are pretty angered, but there's a deadlock. Everyone is sticking to their guns. Rama.
Indeed, and of course that anger is certainly justified. But let's focus on what the conference is about, the themes of growth, inequality, unemployment. What solutions are expected to come out of it at the end of the conference?
Well, if the conference does complete, we do expect some solid frameworks coming from this particular conference. Frameworks that can be used at the national level, at the regional level. Frameworks that are integrated in the sense that they are very inclusive. They include the women and they include youth. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at laws and policies that work in this today that can build the economy. Rama.
Indeed. One last question for you, Catherine. 2016 World Bank estimates pointing out the proportion of poor Africans may have fallen from 56% in 1990 to about 43% in 2012. But in absolute terms, the number's gone up from 280 million to about 330 million. So according to experts at the conference, why does the explosive growth of the last decade, why did it leave so many people behind?
Because it was unsustainable growth in the sense that we're not looking at things like education. A lot of youth are going to school, going to universities, being trained, but then they don't have the skills for today's economy. They don't have the skills that work for today. And that's one of the issues that was brought up. We need to have an education system, and countries need to invest in education systems that actually teach youth how to run businesses, how to, you know, outside the box kind of education. But we're also talking about policies that run beyond politics. One of those issues in the sense that you have a government that's coming in for 10 years, coming in for 7 years, and then a new government coming in for another 10 years, 7 years, and yet they don't continue. There's no continuity in terms of policy. And then we also have the issue of industry. There's no industry that has been built, or industries are not really built here in the continent. We have raw materials or resources going out of the continent and coming back as finished products, but we're not building our industries. So experts are saying there needs to be a lot of investment in such issues so that it can include everyone. It can include, especially when it includes the youth and the women, because we need to have policies that include these disadvantaged groups in order to have them be part of economic growth, because the issue here in the conference is not about anything else but the youth, and that's one of the big issues, Rama.
Indeed. We'll leave you there for the time being. Thank you for that. That's Catherine Amant, of course, in the Senegalese capital, Dakar. She and the team there will keep you updated on developments, of course, at that joint conference.